And we're going to be diving into the nitty-gritty, the behind-the-scenes, the things you did not know about organizing and running a Cars and Coffee meet.
It was like a skateboard just coming down. You know what I mean? Like
there you go. Look at this right here. Look.
Oh my God! The first angle, boom.
Yeah.
And there's people standing there right here. Should have grinded that curve.
Yeah.
Someone sabotaging these because Hector and I didn't start out as friends. Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of jealousy.
There's a lot of jealousy.
Jealousy is crazy.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Cars and Coffee podcast. I'm here with Arnold of Windermere Cars and Coffee and Hector of Winter Garden Cars and Coffee. That's the right one,
Yep.
right? Beautiful. And we're going to be diving into the nitty-gritty, the behind-the-scenes, the things you did not know about organizing and running a Cars and Coffee meet. All the things, the accidents, the drama, the conflicts, and hopefully some high moments too, not just the stuff in the dirt. But so how did we get into, we could start, either one of you guys, just fire it off. What does it take to get into organizing a Cars and Coffee meet?
Okay, so two-part question there. How and what does it take?
Yeah.
How is an interesting one. I started doing this like 20-something years ago, 21, 22 years ago, when I was about 18 years old. And that started in New York, back in New York City, actually. And I was in a Maxima forum.
Nice.
And I had a Nissan Maxima, 2001 Nissan Maxima. It was the best car, especially for an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
There's a lot of power for someone like that. And I noticed just like, hey, why don't we have like-minded people meet up together? And in the Maxima, I think it was maxima.org, which was the Maxima forum at the time, basically was saying, hey, where can we all get together? Where can we meet? And somebody mentioned, how about Floyd Bennett Field? So obviously a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with Brooklyn, New York. It's like it's a national park now, but it used to be this airstrip for the military. I believe that's what it was, Floyd Bennett Field. Now what it's used for is NYPD training, among other things, and it's protected by, the military, et cetera. But they did permitting there for certain events. It could be a picnic, it could be anything.
Yeah.
So I went there, paid for a $50 permit, and they were like, okay, cool, how many cars? And I was like, I don't know, it's a great question. Well, I announced the event, and we got like 100, 125 cars showed up. Wow. It was really cool because, it was really, really cool because I probably gave it about a month and a half lead time. So within 6 weeks or so, it took about 100, 125 like-minded Nissan owners. Oddly enough, a lot of Honda Acura owners showed up too.
Interesting, okay.
And it's like a weird thing in New York where like back in the day, like if you had a Maxima, some dude in an Acura TL was like, well, I got a TL. I got a 3.2.
It's always
you have a 3.0, up until Maxima's got the 3.5. But anyways, that's kind of how it started for me. And I continued doing them through like various different areas. It wasn't just Brooklyn because I'm from Queens. So I would do them in Queens, on like the border of Douglaston and Great Neck at like this parking lot behind a Starbucks. So there was actually a Cars and Coffee, but it was in the middle of the night. It was on Wednesdays.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's how I met Tavares. So that's how I met him.
So you've known him for a while?
20 years.
Oh, wow.
I was 19, I think, when I met him. He's a year younger than me. So 21 years.
Wow.
I've known Freddie. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you guys had the relationship from here.
No. Yeah. No. So I moved here. So once I got rid of my Maxima, he also got rid of his Maxima. He got into other stuff. I stayed with the Nissan though, like 350Z. I loved my 350Z. And then I got a 370Z. And then in the midst of me owning my 370Z, I moved to Florida in late 2012, 2013. And he moved here a few years after I did. And he messaged me. He's like, hey, I'm going to be moving to Florida. What's like the best neighborhood or great neighborhood to like look for a house? Naturally, I suggested, Winter Garden, Windermere, Dr. Phillips. And he goes, okay, I'll be in town soon. Like, let's meet up. So we met up. We had some coffee. We went to a coffee shop. His wife, I don't think they were married at the time. Maybe they were. And my wife, and he goes, so we looked around these houses in these areas. one problem. I can't have an HOA. I said, why? He goes, well, I just bought this burnt Lamborghini Gallardo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
He's like, and I can't be working on this thing.
HOA
Like,
special right there.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, the HOA is
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
complain. I'm going to be clicking and clacking, and my
Yep.
tools are going to be on and
Yep.
off, the whole time, compressors,
You get
etc.
those air tools going.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, crap. Oh, you're right. So, like, a few weeks later, he messaged me. He goes, I bought a house in Tavares. I'm like, where the hell is that?
Yeah.
I looked it up on the map. I'm like, Tavares is going to be living in Tavares. I was like, this writes itself.
Yeah.
So that's where he bought his first house up there. But yeah, I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like my genesis of how I started car meets. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this back when I first moved here, and I couldn't find like Cars and Coffees or anything like
That's what
that.
it was, yeah.
Right? If there are other people out there like today that this is happening to, guess what? There's an app for that now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The Car Hangout app.
Car Hangout app.
Car Hangout app. I mean, we it's one of our partners, D, and
Yep.
I mean, you can see it's more or less the Instagram of car shows.
That's
Yep.
I mean,
crazy.
it's
Yep.
insane. You go in there, you can post, you can share, you can connect your.
The thing is crazy. Look
yeah.
at all the
Oh,
shows.
you see
Yeah,
all of
absolutely.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
If
everything's
I needed
on
this
there.
when I was in high school in San Diego.
If
like,
I
where do
had
I
that,
find it?
if I had that 12, 13 years ago, it would have been a game changer
It would have been
for
a
me.
game changer. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're traveling somewhere and you want to check out a show, go in there.
Look at
I
that.
mean, our show was on there before, we even discovered the app. So that's how, he tracks it.
You know what's wild? I was at the McLaren the other day, and there was a family visiting from, I want to say Alabama. They were visiting from Alabama, and they had a son who was, just doing all the touristy car stuff. So he hit up Ferrari, he hit up Porsche South Orlando, Porsche North Orlando, and then McLaren and the Lamborghini dealer. So if he knew about this app, I would have been like, hey, because he asked, he's like, what are the Cars and Coffees coming up? And I said, well, mine's coming up, but it won't be for another 8 days at the time. He goes, we're leaving in 3. But, he wouldn't have had to ask somebody just
Right, yeah.
by chance
Or
running
know
into
the right
someone like me.
Instagram
He would have
account,
had it, boom, right on his phone.
Yep.
And we get that a lot. I mean,
Yep.
we get that all the time on our
Absolutely.
Facebooks, right?
Yep,
Like,
absolutely.
hey, I'm visiting. I get a DM on Facebook, or I get a DM on Instagram. I'm visiting. When's your next show? That no longer, would need to be a question if that
Right.
guy's got or girl got the Car Hangout app. That thing's really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me, Cars and Coffee Winter Garden.
Yep.
I'm on there. Arnold's going to be on there
I'm
as
going
well.
to be on there.
So you can chat with us. You can send us messages.
Yep.
You can pretty much do anything with it.
Yep.
And the cool thing, what I like, is you can add it to your calendar.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. You just hit one button. You can, like I said, you can attach your link up your social media.
Yeah.
Your Instagram, your Facebook,
It's
your
like the
TikTok.
Instagram of car meets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
So,
it's
big
it's
thanks.
Yeah, very user friendly. So check it out.
Big thanks.
It's a great app. You guys
Appreciate
will
it.
love it.
Thank you to
Yeah.
Dean. Thank you to Car Hangout
Yeah.
app.
Thank you guys.
After moving to Florida, there was really nothing here on this side of Florida, like in Windermere.
Yep.
What year was this about?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it was early 2013 when I fully moved into that house. And yeah, there was just really nothing there. And for a while, I mean, I sold my 370Z after moving here, and I had a few decent cars. I had a Jaguar, I had an Infiniti M56S, which was basically a roided up 370Z, same platform, just
Yeah.
a big giant V8, 4 doors. And
Is that the one they put in the truck?
the
Titan
yeah,
motor?
so the M56, the second generation car, which mine was a 13, that was basically the upgraded truck motor.
Ah, nice.
Right, I think it was called a VK56. The sedan version had way more horsepower.
Right.
I think it was actually like 20 or 30 more horsepower and not as torquey, just because the red lines increased and they made it more usable for a sedan and not a truck.
Right.
But yeah, essentially was based off of that
Makes sense.
old 5.6 liter that they've reused and upgraded over years. But then I got a Jaguar, another Jaguar, an XKR, and I was like, man, I want to go to a car show. And I went once to this car show on the other side of town. I'm like, this is far. It was pretty far. It was like a 40-minute drive because you had to go to like past the airport, and the airport's 30 miles,
Right.
30 minutes away, 30 miles, 30 minutes. And I was like, gotta get something closer here. So that car show was like another 10 minutes, so 40 minutes for a car show. Waking up
Yeah.
at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
So one day I was at this new Starbucks that they had just built in Windermere, and I see a Ford GT.
Wow.
But it was a 60s, like I think the builder was Super Performance. It was one of those builders. Replica, but it was to the T. It was just perfect. And I started talking to the owner, and he was super nice. And like as in the middle of talking to him, a Volvo P1800 pulls up, and I love those things, the million-mile Volvos, right? Those things are so cool. And in the middle of talking to the Volvo guy and the Ford GT guy, a Mercedes 80-something SEL rolls up, right?
Yeah.
Coupe. I was like, man, this is sick, really pretty. And then like the last car that rolled up was somebody I became really good friends with, was a McLaren, and that was my first McLaren spot. And he had just gotten a 720S. It was an orange McLaren 720S. It just came out. It was early 2017, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. You know, I'm gonna do something in that very plot of land.
So
that plaza.
instantly exotics, right? Instantly.
But yeah,
I mean,
to
right
me,
off the bat,
yeah,
just about.
exactly. Because I just knew like Windermere is home to, you know, Tiger Woods lived here, and Shaquille O'Neal lived here up until recently, you know, and Vince Carter lives here. Grant Hill has a home, you know, like a lot of basketball players, athletes, celebrities in general, billionaires. They just have all these houses, and they have a nice collection of cars. And then there's just other people who just genuinely aren't celebrities, but they genuinely enjoy cars.
Right.
And I just kind of knew, I was like, this is a good fit.
Yeah.
This neighborhood for a car show is a good fit.
Yeah.
There's another car show that's, you know, relatively close to where we're recording this right now.
Yes.
And it's a Cars and Coffee, but it's in a very small little piece of land. It's like an insurance plaza. It's an Allstate or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and like a little cafe. But it attracted a completely different crowd.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very well publicized. Not a lot of people knew about it. So me being from a marketing background, I was like, I can make this work.
Yeah.
So basically first show, 10 cars. Most of the people I knew. Freddie was one of those people that came out just to support, you know. And then after that, it was 20, and then it doubled, like 20, 40, 80, and then 100.
It's crazy how that goes.
It's
just
quick.
instantly. You don't know what to expect, and all of a sudden you have 10 cars. You think you're going to have 10, and you have 30.
Yeah.
And so it's the unexpected.
It
with these
balloons
shows.
very fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after that, I mean, couldn't be at the not that anything happened. Couldn't be at the Starbucks slot any longer. We outgrew it, and so I went literally the next flight down to my friends who owned a beautiful French cafe, amazing food, amazing coffee, and they wanted the show there, and they were totally on board. And that's where the show really, really grew and became known for what it is, as being like this festival of hypercars and supercars,
awesome.
like McLaren P1, LaFerrari, 918, Carrera GT.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Yeah. It was just so crazy. We had, and we'll pull this up, but we have we literally had like 2 LaFerraris parked back to back, and it's like, what is happening here?
When does this? When do you
One
get
was
to
an
see
Aperta,
Yeah.
and then the other one's just a standard one, and you know. Is if you can call a LaFerrari a standard one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of
Base
when that
model.
was my holy shit moment, where it was, you know,
Yeah.
it's pretty surreal. Yeah, so that's where the show took off from, and that's
That's nice. For me, it was a little bit of a different story because I was the car enthusiast that went to all the Cars and Coffee. I mean, I had been to yours. Yeah, I had been to yours. And I just made rounds going to, you know, a bunch of Cars and Coffees. I did a lot of charity, you know, rallies and stuff like that. And, but, you know, I'm everybody knows me that I have Mustangs, and I'm a Mustang guy at heart. You know, I have a couple of GT500s and just a Mustang guy at heart. I love Mustangs. I've always loved Mustang. My first sports car was a Mustang. So, you know, I just I wanted to try something different and maybe, you know, do some like charity stuff and whatnot, just with like adding my twist to it. And funny story, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were just kind of going back and forth about cars, and all of a sudden it got thrown at me, well, why don't you start your own Cars and Coffee? So, you know, I was like, well, you know, there's so many around town and whatnot. And so I said, okay, so let me see what I can do. Let me think outside the box here. Let me see what I can do. Now, this was COVID times, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And this Saturday will be 3 years. And there was just nobody was going out to the car meets. Everybody was wearing masks, so it was a little tough time. So we didn't even know if the car shows were even going to survive. And so I had a phenomenal idea. I said, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I can resurrect something. Maybe I can find something where either they don't want to do it anymore, or maybe I can help someone, and eventually, if they want to pass it on, I'll take it from there. So I live in Volusia County, and I was living in Volusia County at the time, and so I looked in Daytona, messaged those guys.
Right,
There was nothing there, no response, and I said, I don't think there's a good car scene here.
Surprisingly.
So I said, okay, what's the next town over? And I looked. I mean, I did research. I went on Facebook. I saw who was posting, when was the last post, how many cars. I mean, I did a lot of analytical, I did my homework. Let's just say it like that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Winter Garden, this this show here seems like it used to be a show.
It was a
now
decent
it's
show.
no longer
Yeah.
a show.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Winter Garden's a very good town.
Yeah.
So a very good city. So finally found someone on Facebook that was running. His name was Pavel, and he was a big Jaguar guy. And I messaged him 4 times. He never responded, and I just kept bugging him. And finally, he messaged me back. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I was out of town, blah blah." And then all of a sudden, he says, "Hey, give me a call." So we spoke on the phone, and he said, "Man, you were God sent." And I asked him, "Well, why?" He's like, "Well, the show's dying. I'm ready to move out of state, and I want someone else to take over." And that was like right off the bat. He said, "I can join you a couple shows, and then from there, it's yours." And so I was like, "Okay, well, what do you've got?" He's like, "Well, I've got normally 15 cars, so 15 cars is like and they were all Corvettes, just about,
Nice.
a couple Camaros, and the loyals, because Corvette guys, let me tell you, those guys are loyal. I mean, I get to my spot at 6:00, and the guy's already there on the chairs,
Yeah.
so
Classic.
So the it went 15, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna start social media. Did the Instagram.
Yeah.
And started posting. The Facebook account already had about 1,000 followers, so we had something to work with there.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't do a permit. We didn't do the and we'll get into this at some point of what it takes from the other things that people don't see to run one of these shows. Mm-hmm. And went out there, posted. Well, let's see what happens. Went to the show, and there was about 60 cars. So everybody came to me, "Oh, wow, this show is huge. It's great. Yeah. Everything is." We were just in one parking lot. And all of a sudden, I started getting sponsors, like messaging me, like, "Hey, I want to sponsor. I want to sponsor. And I'm like, man, we don't even know we're going to have a show here,
Right.
let alone, open up for sponsors. So that was that. And then by the third month, and let me backtrack a little bit. There was a buddy of mine, big Mustang guy, and we started together. We kind of talked about it. His dream was to run a car show, and I said, well, let's do it 50-50. Let's rock and roll. So he got in it with me at first, and he's no longer part of it at this moment. But deep down, he's always part of it because he was there at the moment. But so we started hitting social media, and all of a sudden it went from 60 cars to 80 cars to 100 cars. Now at my lot, we started with one lot, but we have 3 more lots we can add, and eventually just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so all of a sudden, it was like, okay, now we're at least a player here, and it's crazy how now we're about to hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, like organically.
Yeah, crazy.
Never boosted, never boosted one post on Instagram ever. It's all organic, 100%. There's no fake followers. Everything is 100% organic. And I respond fast on when they message me and whatnot. But and everybody will know as we get these shows going how much we interact with people before even the show between shows.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of hey, do I have to pay?
Right,
Is there still space?
Oh,
It's a lot of that.
I answered this is no joke. I answered 15 questions about do I have to pay for this Saturday show.
I noticed.
And I try my best, and I post a different on a different reply, like tonight I'm gonna go on a story and say, hey, 100% free.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our monthly events are free.
Is that typical for Cars and Coffee? It's supposed to be free. Should be free.
There's
Sensitive
a very sensitive topic on that one.
Yeah.
That one there, because we've gone to the shows that and we've paid. And
At the time, it was like $1.
Yeah, $1.
Right,
And
that's the one I have to drive 40 minutes to.
Inflation, I guess.
Yeah,
With inflation,
with inflation
COVID,
now, it's
inflation.
10 times that amount.
Yeah, 10 times that amount. But it's a very sensitive subject, and so Arnold and I, what, and he probably agrees with me. We put a lot of out of pocket expenses for these shows.
Yeah,
always. Probably.
And we're not doing it for money.
Yeah.
We do it for the love of the event. Now he has a certain following, and I have a more diverse following, with the American Muscle and throwing a mixture of exotics and people that cross between his show and my show.
Right,
And we just it's just a different group of people. However, like the exotic people, they drive 15, 20 cars deep, and they show up to your show, and which is pretty cool when they drive up, and the kids and whatnot.
Yeah, it makes for a grand entrance.
But going back to your question, I think there's only one show that actually charges regularly monthly.
I've looked. What's crazy is that I've actually looked at me being from New York. There's not a single show in New York that charges. That's number one. There's Manhasset. There's Woodbury. They don't charge. Then I looked at Los Angeles. I think the Orange County,
The South Orange
show
Yeah.
has a donation component, but it's totally optional.
And that's the largest.
And that's
largest one.
Yeah, that's in this outlet, this really pretty outlet mall. And a lot of people know this one because one day you'll see Jay Leno, another day you'll see Tim Allen roll up, Seinfeld will roll up to that. Yeah,
I live 45 minutes
Yeah.
from that Orange County, that parking garage.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that one's free as well. If you wanted to, you can go on their website and donate, but you don't have to donate at the door, or entrance or anything like that.
West, the one down south, the large one, Palm Beach.
Palm Beach
was charging, but I do know
they had
that
a huge expense.
they had overhead.
That had a lot of overhead.
I know John. John's actually PPF'd a couple of my cars.
Yeah.
And a great guy, great guy. John was cool as hell. And as a matter of fact, when I started, he was one of the guys that I messaged, and I asked him. I said, John, what do I need? What advice would you give me? And he said, first and foremost, you have a hospital behind you. Be mindful.
Oh God.
He's a firefighter.
Yeah.
And he said, you have a hospital, be mindful. So I contact the hospital, people, the uppers management there, and I told them, and they say, hey, you don't bug us. As long as you don't block the streets, we're good. And so
was a traffic over a noise. I was thinking a noise thing.
No,
but it's
no,
a
noise.
traffic
No,
issue,
it's pretty quiet. I mean, because we're kind of we're at the end of that strip there,
sense,
so they it's really you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure they don't obstruct the flow of traffic in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Especially for the ambulance.
John gave me some advice, being a firefighter, and but yeah, he charges, but he actually shared with me his expenses, and I mean, I'm not going to put his business out there, but it's crazy.
It was a lot.
It's crazy.
Just because, so John and Max, Max was also running the Palm Beach Cars and Coffee, and it was obscene.
Yeah,
It was a
3,000 cars, right?
Yeah, thousands,
Right.
3,000,
3,000 cars.
1,500 was slow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had 1,000 after 7 years or 8 years, whatever, doing this here in Florida, and I just had over 1,000 for the second time.
Yeah.
In this terrible heat, but they were doing 2,000, 3,000 regularly.
Nuts. Yeah.
Regularly.
And I could tell you from that show that you did this last weekend, me as a spectator, well, not spectator, but as an enthusiast, because obviously I went there as an enthusiast. It was probably, and I told my wife this, that it was perhaps the best show that I've been to, period.
Thank you.
And and it was just the flow of the show, the coordination was there, and and one thing that I don't gauge my show as how many cars I get.
Yeah.
I gauge how people mingle. If you see the crowds, people mingling and talking, and they go look at a car, and it doesn't have to be, $100,000 car, but they're just talking about cars.
Right.
That's when it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And that's one of the props I get a lot in my show is, they say it's very laid back, everybody's talking, and that's kind of what I saw at the show, and it was pretty cool, and a lot of the people cross sharing, photos and whatnot, tagging,
right.
which shows unity, obviously, in the shows.
I get a lot of collaboration requests, and I probably approve like 99% of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's and I might get my head chewed off for saying this, but the people that go take pics, the young kids, you almost appreciate them, because without them,
they help you grow the page.
They help you grow the page.
Yeah.
And back then, I don't remember where it came from, but I was told that they got bashed because that pictures, photography was dead and whatnot, and but I welcome and I share and I collab, whatever I can, because a lot of them are young kids from high school, and they love these cars, so pretty neat,
It's like
neat.
the
But
highlight of the weekend.
yeah.
They're without them standing out there, I prefer they didn't stand that close to the road, especially in the median, like in the dividers. Like that's the worst place. I just don't like when they stand there.
Yeah.
I prefer them to be as far away from the car as possible.
Yeah.
Not standing like on the edge of the curb or anything like that. Especially, like I said, not the median. But without them, our shows wouldn't be as successful.
Correct.
Because they help grow the profile,
Correct.
right? They're tagging you and stuff. Their friends see it. They're,
so shout out to them,
shout out to all the spectators.
Shout out to all the spectators. I mean, even though sometimes we have to,
we got to wrangle you guys back in.
Bit.
Like, don't stand there, please, because
we're just looking out for your products.
we can show the ZR1 crash, right? Like we could pull that up right now with one of the events when I moved to Desertland, and you'll see like that car.
What could happen?
It did basically. It was like a skateboard just coming down. You know what I mean? Like
there you go. Look at this right here. Look.
Oh my God! This is the first angle. Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
There's people standing there.
That's
right
the thing.
here.
At my show,
Look, I mean,
what I love is that everybody has
Any
to
more
turn right.
speed, that kid would
So what I do is I speak with the spectators and I say, stay on the left side.
stay on the left side. Yeah.
Just stay on the left side. And I explain to them, hey, listen, I'm a car guy. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go home today with, knowing that someone got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And I try to, I have every now and then I get a couple mouthy ones.
Yeah.
But once I never lose my cool. I just, respectfully tell them.
You're better. Like, you're a better man than I am. I don't lose my cool, but it eats at me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because it frustrates me. Like, hey, I'm looking out for your safety and for my safety to some extent, because I don't want, now this, look, I don't want this to become my problem.
Yeah.
You standing in the middle of the grass, if we could probably pull up another one of my crashes.
Yep.
Another infamous one, the blue BMW.
The blue BMW, yep.
Right? There was people standing in there. Look, I was recording. Look.
Yep.
Right on the
Dude,
Look at that.
if that car, boom.
Yeah.
If that car went the other way,
Yeah.
he would have taken out those
Yeah.
kids in the median.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
So like I try to discourage people, and we hire police officers. Shout out to Jeremy, by the way. Shout out to Jeremy too. I love you, buddy.
Kindergarten PD, you guys help me out all the time.
Orange County, love you guys. And so I would hire my friend because I trusted him, and there was so many times where they're like, "Hey, don't stand in the divider, don't stand in the median, whatever. It's dangerous." Like, what does it take to learn? And you see these videos all the time.
Yeah.
Like, thank God it hasn't happened to us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But people getting hit by a Mustang or an
Yeah,
M4
yeah.
going a little wayward.
It's always the Mustang guys, right?
No, I said or M4. Oddly enough, it's never been a
It's a
Mustang in my
German,
show.
it's a German Mustang.
Right?
Yeah.
It's always been like something oddly expensive. Like I had a Ferrari 430. We'll get to all this.
Yeah.
And like an M4 is not a cheap car.
Yeah.
A ZR1 is $100,000.
Yeah.
That was a C7 ZR1.
Yeah.
These are expensive cars,
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's not just Mustangs, it's not just Camaros, it's not just Hellcats.
Yeah.
I find it funny, but like the Hellcats and like the Mopar crew, they tend to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And
Yep.
it's like a disturbance of noise,
Yeah.
not so much recklessness. But I have seen Mustangs do stuff at my shows, and I'm like, yeah, you're not coming back.
Yeah. No, I banned. I think I've only banned 2 people. One of them was an actual spectator who was very rude to the officer.
Yeah.
And he actually called in the officer. And Sarge, it was a funny story because I'm sitting there, directing, traffic and whatnot. And the officer was sitting there being, cool. He was letting the cars rev a little bit here and there, nothing crazy, just as long as they didn't spin out or whatnot. And this guy shows up and he was upset that the police officer was parked there and they couldn't see. And the police officer's like, I'm sitting here, controlling traffic.
Excuse me, officer, you're in my way.
Exactly. More or less, that's what happened. And what was funny story is that I'm sitting there, speaking with the officer, and I see the guy on the phone looking. He looks back at the tag, and I'm like, I looked at him, and I'm like, did you really just call him in?
He called the police.
He called the police department on a police officer.
My God.
Hello, police. I'm here to report your police. Yeah.
So he was getting mouthy with us while he had the Winter Garden PD on the phone, and I just flat out say you're banned. So you're banned from the show.
Good.
Forever. And he told the lady, "Oh, look at it. I'm now I'm banned forever." So he kept going, and I was like, I said, "Man, he's here to help us. He's not here to hurt us." And this is the show coordinator telling a spectator that. Usually they think that the police officers are against us, which they're not. I mean, if you run these shows and you do things the right way, the officers are there to help you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a funny story because the guy was upset that the officer was on the right side blocking their view, and it's an insane story. But yeah, that guy got banned. I never saw him again.
That's great.
I'll remember him, and I'll kick him out again.
I didn't ban the guy. So there was somebody I did ban. He was doing a burnout in a Chrysler 300C.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why? And he'd done one before in an older 300C. Yeah. And I was like, don't do this again. And when I moved locations to the French Cafe, Le Café de Paris, shout out to Le Café de Paris. When I moved to there, he did it again. And this time he was stupid enough to do it in front of the police officer.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. He's like, "What do you want me to do about it?" I was like, "Go you can have a talk with him." So he had a talk with him.
Yeah.
And I basically went on, found his profile, blocked him from seeing Windermere Cars and Coffee, the Facebook page, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. And that was So another time, I didn't ban the guy, but it was an R34 Skyline GTR. It was a pretty high powered car because it was not even that wet of a day. It was like mildly damp. It rained like at 6, 7 a.m. But he pegged it leaving, and the car just went whoosh, 180. He saved it, didn't hit the divider or anything. He saved it, and he left. And I was like, dude, you're probably going to want to lay low for a little bit. Mm. And
he track him down on social media or something?
I knew who it was because he had messaged me. He was like, hey, I'd like to attend. A lot of people, what they do is they post pictures of their cars to let me know that they're coming. So I was like, I remember this car. He posted a picture of his GTR, and I was like, let me reach out to him and say, you're going to want to lay low. Yeah. Because I believe FHP came out. Yeah. Because the neighborhoods, the HOA, in, where the clips were, you can see the M4 crashed into, that HOA would frequently call FHP. But because I had Orange County on hand, they were pretty quick to dissolve the situation. They were like, okay, it's fine. As long as you guys are here, Orange County's monitoring the situation. It was not a big deal. It wasn't up until like these accidents started to happen. They happened back to back, and I'll get into all that stuff and the fallout. I
can tell you when things like that happen, you have other enthusiasts that email you. They'll message you. Like they'll say this guy was the one that was burning out.
Oh,
You get that, like, people have your back out there. Like they'll
because they don't want the show to go away.
Correct.
Hey guys, I just want to give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, Elite Ceramic Coatings Orlando. Jamal, thank you so much for being a part of this first episode and hopefully many episodes to come. Elite Ceramic Coatings is a local detail shop. They ceramic coat anything you need, especially on a car. They PPF, they detail. If you've got a car, you want to protect it, go see them. They are in the Winter Garden area. Thank you again, Elite Ceramic Coatings.
You want your car to last? We got you.
you know, I don't like to accuse anyone of anything, but I have a funny feeling that this was done on purpose. But there was one time a truck wasn't part of the show. He circled around, circled around, circled around, circled around, and then he did a huge burnout. And then he went on his IG page and started mocking us, you know, that we were going to ban him and all this stuff. So that happens more. I think that a lot of people try to jeopardize these shows.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's people because they know that, you know, the city is looking at, you know, is looking at the show, and they're, you know, especially when you pull permits, you know, they want to make sure that everything is good. And you try to do things the right way, and then you have people that just disrespect it.
At least he wasn't rolling coal.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, last month, there was, after the show was over, it was about 11. There was a couple of stragglers that stayed behind.
Yeah.
And I got a video of a Dodge Ram, just a regular Dodge pickup truck, nothing, you know, souped up or lifted or anything. Just looked like it was coming out of the dealership.
Doing a burnout.
And doing a huge burnout. And I tried to find the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like 5 videos that were sent to me. And this was after I already had left.
You already left, yeah.
And because our show ends at 10:30, and it was about 11 something.
Okay.
And, you know, it's like, why was that guy doing it? Why was he doing a burnout? You know, the show was gone. So you start wondering, right?
Someone sabotaging you?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows, right? I mean, I've heard of some. There's a lot of backstories.
There's a lot of backstabbing.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories, and there's I mean, if we didn't get in trouble, the stuff that we could share,
Right.
you know, it's
there are ways we could share stories and not get in trouble. We just have to not name names.
Yeah.
But,
well, I do know that
because in generally, I'm sorry,
you're
but
good.
in generally, like if anyone's watching this outside of Central Florida, they won't even care
Yeah.
whose names we like. They won't know.
Yeah.
So we can call that person, you know, Alex or Amy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just the point is like the story itself is these stories in general are nuts. What are you gonna say?
No, because sometimes there'll be a conflicting event, like Sunday 10 a.m. this place, Sunday 10 a.m. that place, same time. It's like, which one do I go to?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some conflict.
Oh, there is, and you know, we formed an alliance.
Yeah.
We formed an alliance, and we welcomed all.
Yeah.
And the big shows. Right, you can't do anything about the pop-up meet at, you know, Steak and Shake, which in Leesburg, my daughter, you know, is a manager at a Steak and Shake in Leesburg, and they had a show there, and I try to share the love. Tom from Giant Wreck, one of our sponsors. Hey Tom, shout out to you. Tom is he goes to that show because he lives in that area, but you know, we try to never step on each other's toes, and we do a lot of events, and we had an open invitation to everyone, right? All the big dogs.
Yeah, we invited everybody, and there were people who just
ignored
didn't
us
want to be a
or
part of it.
said no. Or
2 people.
Yeah,
Two
one of
people.
them respectfully said no to me personally, and the other one sarcastically. But it was an open invitation, and you know, we have a lot of shows and a lot of great stuff that we can do. And I think with this alliance, there, you know, 4 months ago, there was so much talk about all the drama and the divas and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's like we proved that that was nonsense. You know,
you had I believe it was your idea. You had this idea like, hey, we should all just come together and show that no, all the Cars and Coffee organizers don't hate each other. And that like we can prove it, and basically let's create this alliance, which we did. And I think that alliance is like 5 or 6, and we're actually going to be likely adding ones outside of Central Florida.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But the reason the alliance even exists in the first place is because Hector and I didn't start out as friends.
Oh, yeah, there's a story behind that.
Yeah, So we were in the sense that I didn't hate the guy, and he didn't necessarily hate me, but we had a rift. So he used to attend my events, and he still does. But he was one of the frequent flyers, right? And he came to one of my Desertland events. May have even been the same one at the ZR1
Yeah,
crash.
it was.
I think it was that one,
I left
right?
a little before that.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Yeah.
So he came to that event, and he asked if I'd be interested in being a part of a charity event, a car meet with a charity component for a girl with spinal bifida. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Anything you need, I'm down. Let's do it. So we were like going to set up a call, and the call kind of never happened. Hey, like it's 6 o'clock. Let's call. Let's talk. And it just didn't happen. It was like kind of a delay after delay. But in the background, something else was happening where somebody was like kind of putting thoughts into your head. Let's just put it that way. So there's somebody was bad mouthing me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, look, man, whatever it is, I still want to be involved in this event, no matter who it's with. And he said, well, I think I'm going to do it with this person because I've been working with him and I've known him longer. And I said, that's great. If there's room, like the more the merrier.
Yeah.
As I believe that's what I said. It was like the more the merrier.
Yeah.
I was like, anything to help this girl out. But this other outside influence, it kind of, from my perspective, seemed like, all right, he's kind of messed with this guy's thoughts of me and painted me in a pretty bad light. So I was like, I think this relationship is not going to go anywhere.
Was that because of the success of your shows? Or was it?
I mean,
there's a lot of jealousy.
There's a lot of jealousy.
Jealousy is crazy, and that's one of the sad parts about this. Running a show is that the jealousy is insane because coincidentally, well, let me just kind of close the loop on this side of what happened. Just being transparent, is that every time that I would text, the other person about Arnold, hey, we got to get on a call with Arnold. I heard radio silence. And anytime Arnold's name came up, no responses, and never an explanation like what's going on. And I've always been the guy that supports the Cars and Coffee events. I showed up, I was a regular, but I don't live in this side of town, so a lot of the stuff that goes on, I'm oblivious to, because I'm not. I don't outside of the weekend. I'm not on this side of town. I'm a very busy person during the week, and so, the way it was presented to me was like, okay, no, don't have anything to do with that guy and whatnot. And I just started, I started, distancing myself more or less.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, that show didn't do very well.
I know.
It didn't do very well. It didn't do very well.
One.
Yeah, it didn't do very well. So what happened was, what I did was whatever we collected, I matched 100% out of pocket.
Nice. Yeah.
And personally. And so my wife was there. She was helping.
The outside influence didn't show up, right?
They didn't show up either.
You didn't even go to that show.
They didn't even go to the show. The sponsors didn't go. Nobody showed up. So I was wondering if there was some thought that you were going to be there, and because at the time you had Desertland.
I did have
and
I thought about it, but I didn't want to make things worse.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it's okay. I got to respect that decision for me not to be involved in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just like, it is what it is. I was upset by it. But I didn't want to make it a bigger thing than it really was.
Yeah.
Because I tried to reach out to that person. I have the receipts too. They're on my phone.
Yeah.
I try to reach out to that person multiple times and figure out like why the animosity. Can we bury this? Can we talk it over? Where's it stemming from?
Nothing.
Oh.
Oh.
He read them too. He read them because I saw the double check mark with the blue highlighted.
Yeah.
Read them, and he replied to one of them. I said, "Look, hey man, I see that you read it. It's been 4 or 5 hours. Would you mind giving me a response back?" He goes, "Yeah, sure. One day, well, we can meet up one day." I was like, "Great. What's your schedule like?" "I'm free. I work from home. I'm free whenever. How about next Thursday or something?" Whatever I said. No response. Messaged him again about something entirely separate. No response. One more time. No response. To the point where people are like, "Man, you sound desperate. Just let it go." I'm like, I just want to figure out why this guy hates me.
Right.
Yeah. And to close the book on our the chapter in our book.
Yeah.
So, as my show grew, I started noticing things, and it's like one of the things that I normally do in life is never form an opinion of someone based on what someone tells you.
Yeah.
Because it'll come back and bite you in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think everybody can probably say that once in their life, that happened to them. And I started noticing things just like no engagement, like quite frankly, I even thought that it was a little bit of jealousy because the Winter Garden show was growing.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that I continuously went to support events I continuously showed up. I even went as far as sponsoring some events with Winter Garden Cars and Coffee. But I still didn't see, and I felt bad because I felt like I had a great relationship. And I think, I mean, if I call him right now, he'll answer and we talk and whatnot. But when it comes to the Cars and Coffee stuff, I noticed, but and that's probably a story for another day. But to close the chapter, I started noticing the things, and I said, you know what, I did a disservice to Arnold. They didn't even give him a chance. I've been to his shows. I need to reach out to this guy. So I texted him. I was like, out of the blue. Yeah, and I just said, hey, I need to talk to this guy. Yeah. So I texted him. He responded back very polite. He's like, yeah, let's meet. Mm-hmm. So we met at a Starbucks, and in my life, I've had very few conversations where there's genuine, like it was genuine, where you actually put all the cards on the table.
Yeah. Did you have an inkling of what the conversation was going to be already?
Yeah, I had a pretty good idea what it was going to lead into and what was going to be discussed. Yeah.
Yeah. But we we said, okay, hey, I did this, you did that. Yeah. This is where it went wrong, but it was just led from there. And now we formed, a pretty good partnership and relationship to where, we're pretty good buddies. And it's like, it's genuine because like we give shout outs to each other.
Yeah. I'll support his events.
He supports my events. He gives me advice. He's been doing this for a long time. I try to go to his shows and we do this, he's, as a matter of fact, he did something. He helped, I had a show, it was 2 months ago, where I went on vacation and I went across country in an RV to California. And I have my guys that help out and whatnot. Shout out to all of them for helping. But, he needed that extra set of experienced eyes there. So I called Arnold and said, hey, Arnold, man, I'm not going to be in town. If you could, if you're available, could you please help me out and, go keep an eye on things. Nice. Make sure things get,
I didn't do a whole lot, just to be honest. I went there just to make sure everything was calm and cool. Everything was fine.
But no news is good news.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So and he went and after that conversation, it was like, he did tell me, he told me something straight up. He's like, you need to be well aware of who's on this side of town and what's happening. And I started looking into some people, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of fake stuff here.
Yep.
People for clout, people, on the outside things look a certain way, but behind the scenes it's different. And the sad part is that, sometimes kids try to get sold the Lamborghini dream, and it's sad. But, at the end of the day, when you have real genuine people, on your side, it's like you do what you do. And if people want to jump on board, great. And if they want to, remain petty or because for this show that I'm having this Saturday, the same individual that we're talking about, and he was deleting posts that people were sharing of my show, on this WhatsApp, and I'll tell you, like, if someone shares his flyer in my group, I don't delete it,
right?
Regardless of what happened, I don't delete anyone's. It's because it's one of the things is we're genuine about the enthusiasts, not whose show is big. We're not trying to be the largest.
Right.
And I'll tell you that, if you don't strive to be the largest, it just automatically happens. It seems that way.
That is actually kind of true. I'm going to toot my horn. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, do what you got to do, brother. This Saturday Sunday was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't strive to be the largest. But when I hit 1,000 the first time, before I left Desertland, 2023? No, 2024. 23. I don't remember. The first time, basically, when I left and we hit 1,000, I'm like, holy shit! Like this is insane. To be organizing a car show and have so many moving pieces. You're standing there front and center, and you're radioing or you're telling the people as they're driving in, go here, go there, go there. I would literally go home, beat. Like I don't want to do anything. My wife and kids are waiting for me at home, right? It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of time to go out and get brunch or whatever. And I'm like, guys, I love you. I didn't sleep the night before, and which was common, right before a show. I just can't sleep because I'm so amped up. I'm so nervous.
Nervous.
And I was like, I didn't
jitters.
sleep. Yeah, you get jitters.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? After a while, there was some managerial changes at Desertland when I left. Now I'm back, obviously, at Desertland because they asked for me to come back. We have a great relationship. I didn't burn any bridges there, thankfully, because there's good people that work there.
Good venue, yeah.
It's a great venue.
It's a great
It's a
venue.
freaking awesome venue.
That venue has the potential to be the largest in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, if that venue, I mean, they have a car museum, movie cars,
Yeah.
you know, what is it, golfing and mini golf and
So-
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
At one point when I was like, well, they're changing management, maybe this is a good time for me to leave and go to a smaller venue at a cafe that I'm a more intimate setting.
Yeah.
And so, funny enough, a UFC fighter, shout out to Jacare.
Yeah, Jacare.
Shout out to Jacare. Yeah. Jacare reached out to me and he goes, Arnold, would you want to do a car show in this plaza?
I remember this. I came to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so
a big car guy. By
Yeah,
the way.
he loves cars.
He's
He
a
had,
big
he had
car guy.
an Audi RS5 that was like stage 2, tuned, downpipes,
Yeah.
ECU, everything. It was a really nice RS5. And he was like, would you want to do a car show here? And I looked around, I counted, like I went on Google Maps, I spoke to the owner of the plaza who built it, and I was like, how many parking spaces do you have? He goes, marked, I believe he said 260 or something like that. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, then you have a lot of curbs that we can parallel park cars. I was like, all right, I can get about 350, 380 here. He's like, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I think I want to scale my show down.
Yeah.
I don't want the biggest show in
Yeah.
Central
Yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
but it happened.
It happens.
It just happened that way, which
Yeah.
goes to your point.
Yeah.
And I was happier running a smaller show
It's a lot easier.
than I was running a gigantic
It's
show.
a lot easier. You know, going real quick to the jitters. You know, the problem for us, and again, and we're going to share, you know, in this podcast, we're going to share about what goes on behind the scenes. You know, what is it to be us? So in case someone at another location, you know, another state, whatnot, city, whatnot, they can start their own show and know what's coming.
Yeah.
But for us, it's the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, you get up in the morning. Like, for example, I'm expecting a huge show this Saturday. It's our 30-year
You're
anniversary.
gonna get it.
I think it's going to be huge.
get it.
I went and bought cones and whatnot, but always in the back of my mind is like, well, what about if I only get half of the cars?
Yeah.
Or
Always
or
happens.
or you know, what about if someone wrecks or someone,
Or the
you
weather.
know, a fist fight takes
Yeah.
place? I mean,
Yeah.
I had a situation where there was a gentleman who felt he was disrespected by the police officer. And this gentleman used to be a police officer.
Oh no.
So he was going to call sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and whatnot. So Brent, which is a very good buddy of ours, that, you know, he drives that AMG.
Oh yeah.
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 And he
CLS.
helped. He
63
helped.
AMG,
You
I
know,
love that thing.
diffuse the situation because he was also a police officer. He's retired.
Oh, I
And
didn't
he
know
said,
that.
"Hey
Okay.
guys, you know." So he helped out. We diffused the situation, and so things like that are the unknown. Like what's gonna happen, and you just don't know. And
You see, the reason I'm still wearing my sunglasses is because I haven't fully recovered from my lack of sleep. It's not like I don't have like googly eyes or anything like that, right? Like, that's my camera,
Yeah.
right? I don't have googly eyes. It's just like my nerves are still shot
Yeah.
from Sunday.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We're
a-
recording this on a Wednesday.
Yep, and it's a lot of responsibility, and a lot of people depend on you, you know, to have a great show, and sometimes in the back of our minds, even though we could sit here and say we don't care, it's like we want to bring a good show for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not why we do it, but we do want people to leave the show and say, hey, it was a great show today.
The adulation's nice, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure your back still hurts of how many pads you got this weekend, you know?
It was like
it's
a lot of
crazy.
DMs, a lot of
Yeah.
messages and
Yeah.
posts and stuff
Yeah, and
about
that's
how great
genuine.
it was. Yeah.
You know, he didn't go in there and said, you know, hey, we had a crazy show. I mean, the people themselves said it. And you know, that's when you know it was a great show.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, because like when everyone's leaving, before they leave, they usually say goodbye, especially the ones that are the closest
regulars.
to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The
yeah,
regulars and
yeah.
the ones that genuinely know me on a personal level. And then there's people who know me and I know are not going to be full of shit. Like they'll be honest with me.
Yeah, right.
I know like there's a handful of guys that come out to the shows. They're going to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know when they're honest. Yeah, I mean, basically, no one said a bad thing. I had people who didn't go to the show message me and said, I wish I went because everyone said that it was awesome.
Yeah.
you know. So that's always nice to hear. It's kind of hard for me to take a compliment. I start to like do like this weird smile thing where I'm like, it's weird. You know, I can't take a compliment very well. But it's nice to hear.
Yeah.
And it helps push the show forward, you know? Like when I left Desertland, I was like, I got to change some stuff because I'm going from 1,000, 8 to 900, 1,000 cars that I could fit comfortably at Desertland to a parking lot of 360 to 380.
Yeah.
And the spectators are what drive a lot of that number like higher.
Yeah.
So I can get 360 display cars,
Right.
but then I'll get 200 spectators. I don't know where to park them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I went quote unquote private in a sense. Well, not, that was the genesis or the precursor to being private.
Right.
Where I said, okay, spectator parking is limited. Once it's full, it's full. You got to park at the entrance, this long driveway to this cafe. I believe it's called Island Touch. Yeah, Island Touch Cafe in Ocoee. And, I mean, once that's full, it's full.
Yeah.
And people were mad. And, this show, it's not necessarily for spectators. It's not
really,
for, mom and her kids, to come out on a Sunday morning. It's more about enthusiasts gathering and shooting the shit. That's really more what it's for. And as much as we love, families coming out, I just couldn't handle it anymore because I didn't have the space.
Yeah.
And things, changing at Desertland at the time, I couldn't afford Desertland. So this is like going back to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like we had costs, we had expenses, we
Yeah.
had to pay police permits and insurance.
Yep.
Yep.
And yet we still do this stuff for free.
Yeah.
And plus there's our labor and our
Correct.
lack of sleep and
Correct.
nerves, like my nerves being shot.
Answering questions on Instagram
Yeah.
nonstop.
It's a grind.
It's one of those things where you have to be dedicated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, if someone asks me what's the number one thing you have to bring to the table, is dedication.
Yeah.
If you don't bring dedication, you're going to fail. I don't care how much money you have.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of car you drive. If you don't bring the dedication, I mean, we're talking about, I drive an hour in the morning to where my show is. And
You're
my
far.
family comes out with me. And so I have to wake up the wife and my two daughters at, 5 a.m. Sometimes I'm up at 4:45, 5 a.m. The night
No
before,
thanks.
till 11 o'clock at night, loading the truck with the cones, the tent,
Yeah. The Corvette owners
everything,
are already there.
and
waiting.
and going back to, getting there, and then you're there and you're beat from the sun, walking back and forth, making sure we don't get to enjoy the show. We don't.
Right, yeah.
When we're at the show, we try to mingle as best we can.
I don't.
We have to attend.
I never enjoy my own shows.
Yeah, we have to attend. Attend the show.
Yeah.
Because if we lose control, it can go sideways really quick.
Yeah.
And so we are. And I saw that Sunday, and
Yeah. You see me? I'm just standing
you were
there
you were
like
you
a
were like
lamppost.
a soldier, and
Yeah.
your spot, right there.
Exactly.
And that was your area.
Yeah.
And that's how you get. And it's but if you're not dedicated, and remember, if your show is going to be the fourth, let's just say like mine's the fourth Saturday of every month, and if I start posting that, then that weekend I'm not doing anything in the personal level,
Yep.
because people are expecting me to have that show on the fourth Saturday.
Yeah.
And so I have to sacrifice whatever with the family, and it's something that we will get into,
Yeah.
what's on the behind the
There's a
scenes
lot of topics
with
to
the
cover.
family. So things that people don't really bring up, and they don't know what actually happens.
Yeah.
So this podcast, you're going to find out.
Yeah, you're gonna find out.
You're going to know.
People are really going to find out what it's like to run, organize the Cars and Coffee, and then I hope they get a sense of the headache that like we endure as married men
Right.
with children. What our wives think and what our wives say, and then the outside drama, and then the cost of it all, like we said. It's just, and then the drama in the Cars and Coffee world and the community.
Oh, yeah.
And then the people that we meet, it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to know one thing. Like, I want to know, to anyone outside of Central Florida I want to know, what cars and coffees do you guys go to? I want to know if there is drama in your neck of the woods.
Yep.
Please comment down below.
Yeah.
Feel free to name names or not if you don't want to. It's fine. But I'm genuinely curious, and I want to know if there's cars and coffees that you go to that are paid, that you have to pay for. Just share anything you can, because I'm genuinely, like, I've always wanted to know, is this a Central Florida issue or is this not?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's some stuff going on in South Florida.
Yep. I've
On the Miami side.
I've heard. Yeah.
That, our friends at Car Hangout app told us, he goes, it's not all cotton candy and puppies and all that stuff. It's SoFlo. So that's interesting. It kind of makes me feel like, okay, cool. So it's not all gravy and stuff like that, outside of Central Florida. So we might not be alone on this boat.
Oh, yeah. And we'll find out. We'll find out soon as we, share things with everyone. And a lot of good stuff, though.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff.
So on that bombshell, I guess we can kind of end it here, but we've got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about. I know you still have a lot of questions, right? Like,
oh yeah, we could go all day.
We can go all day.
We just flowed. I love it.
There's a lot of questions. If you guys have questions, Hector and I always get questions about, how do I start my own cars and coffee? What does it take? I feel like we may have answered some of those, but share down below. We'll read all the comments. We'll respond to as many. We'll take and read those comments in future episodes. We've got, so many things, so many bits and drama experiences. We'll go into details of the crashes that you saw here, and I'll tell you about the fallouts that we've endured.
Correct.
Police activity. There's a lot of stuff to cover. It's going to go on for a long, long time. So please, if you like what you heard, like, share, and subscribe. Follow Hector. Yours is Cars and Coffee Winter Garden.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Yep.
Mine is Windermere Cars Coffee. Peter Tan is Pete Details.
Yeah, Pete Details.
At Pete Details. He's a detailer. He's amazing at what he does. He's also my detailer. And we're going to cut it here. Until next time, right? See you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.